Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Castro once again with YS Stocks and Options. And what are we seeing in the macro level as far as the market, right? A few things. For this time, I want to focus on the month of July because this month of July has been no different from the last 6 Julys, right? And let's go back 5 years. So right here we have July, boom, right? Green candle, price action higher. July 18, where are you? Right here. Right? July 18, right? Price action higher, right? That means it went higher. Let's look at 2000, July right here. This is July. You could look at the month right here, right? Boom. July right there. Right? 2019. Let's go to 2020 July. Bam, right? It went higher. Right? You guys see the pattern. 2021 July. Well, you here, right here. Right? The point that I'm mentioning here, right? July is usually a month that is coiled for a bull rally, right? And that's because we have over 300 companies actually reporting earnings, to include megatech, right? Some of the Apples of the world, Microsoft, the Amazon, the Googles, right? Megatech, right? And those companies usually do very well when it comes to earnings. So surprisingly, there was no surprise that for this month we were going to see a rally, right? So hence you saw the month of July 2022, right? The market actually going just a tad bit higher in comparison to the month of June. We still find ourselves, unfortunately, in a what? Yes, you already guessed it, right? We still find ourselves in a bear market, right? And if we find ourselves in a bear market, I'll be looking for the S&P 500 to close, right? Just me, right? This will be a sign for me to close one above here. I'll say above 418, right? Above 418 and actually closing, right? Closing there for the month, right? Each one of these candles represents one month. Month of June, month of July. So if it closes here above 418, I'll definitely be considered to buying calls for the long term. But don't see that happening, right? We'll see exactly what happens in the month of August. But this was expected because look at this, right? The CCI is over, right? Right. It's oversold, guys, oversold. So hence this was to be expected as well, given the circumstances for that specific month. So 418 is my price target. Any if it closes, again, the S&P 500 closes above there, right? Definitely be entertaining the market going higher. But what exactly have we seen in the last month, right? So the month of June was a terrible inflation report month, right? There's no way to put in a positive gloss on atrocious numbers. So why does that matter, right? Why does the CPI numbers matter, the consumer price index? Well, prices increase shows no signs of slowing. That's why. They were at urgency for the Federal Reserve to do what? Aggressive campaign to cool inflation. And how do they cool inflation? By raising interest rates, right? Heightening the odds of the central bank steers the economy into a recession, right? Heightening odds, right? So the consumer price index rose about 1.3% in June alone, bringing the last year's price gains to a sizzling 9.1%. That's the fastest annual pace since 1981, November 1981 to be exact. So energy prices were responsible for more than half of the monthly gains in the headline inflation, while we're seeing gasoline prices at the pump over 11%, right? I know I was paying over $5 for gasoline, so that was no surprise considering the prices that we saw at the pump, right? So with that being said, and other geopolitical issues that we have in the world right now, right? We got the war, Ukraine and Russia, right? We still have COVID being problematic to our economy, and also we still have the right logistics supply issues that we have around the world. So a lot of pent up bad news in the world. So for the market to go up and up, back to where it was again, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So with that said, right, but if it does happen, right, can't predict the future. I'm looking for 418 on the S&P 500, right, on the monthly chart for the month of August to close there. If it closes there, I'm all for it, and I'm expecting the market to go just a tad bit higher, but only time will tell, right? So that's for the broader market and actually monthly charts. As we look into the zoom in a little bit closer, right? Now we're going to look into the daily charts, right? I mean, each one of these candles here represents one day. What are you expecting for next week for the S&P 500? For this forecast, we're going to do one index, and that's we're going to focus on S&P 500. You know what? We're going to do two of them. We're going to do two of them. We're going to do S&P 500 and the QQQ. Let's see what are we seeing, right? So when we look at the technicals, like to focus on supporting resistance, any role reversals that we see in the market, but more importantly, the CCI, which is one of the indicators that we love to use, as well as the stochastics, right? So for the S&P 500, we had a lot of support right here, right? Support here, right? One touch point, another touch point, right? Several touch points here, where we saw the market here actually, what is that? Distribution, then a decline, right? So that was one touch point. Several touch points there. And then we saw this here. Bam, right? And what I'm drawing here is just supporting resistance line, right? Support resistance, right? And channels, right? Channel lines, that's what we call them. Those are boundaries in which the stocks are trading above or below channel line. So first channel line that we saw here, right? Boom. S&P 500 trading here. Then it went lower, right? As you guys can see, this particular channel, right? Then it went lower here, right? And now we go back to retest here, right? This was a role reversal in essence, right? Because this was what? Resistance, right? It was support, then it became resistance, right? So if I was to resistance right here, let's go to bold, let's go to 15. A nice color here. Let's go with, yeah, let's go with pink, like pink. So we find ourselves here at resistance, right? So what am I expecting the market to do with this here? I expect the market to go a tad bit higher to test this resistance area, right? So if I was to do a forecast for this one in particular, right, I expect the market to go a tad bit higher, boom, right here, right? Test that 416, right? And eventually come down, right? Come down to retest what? Here. A little bit different from the way that we do it, but to retest this area right here. Right? Change this color, change it to red, right? Boom. Right. Eventually retesting 400 bucks, right? So again, my forecast for the S&P 500 for next week, really 2 weeks, go here, right? Go up just a little bit to 416 roughly to test resistance, and then possibly, right? Possibly retesting $400 in the next 2 weeks. CCI, right? Overbought, just overbought here, right? Waiting for it to come down a little bit. So definitely should see this go a little bit higher. And if, again, if, right? If it does not break through this resistance area, right? If it doesn't break through resistance area of 416, right? And the volume decreases, definitely we'll be looking to retest $399 in the next 2 weeks, right? We're gonna have 2 weeks, right? So that's my forecast again. 416, go a little bit higher, and then possibly if the volume goes back lower, right, we come down a little bit. Let's look at the Qs. And what I would do with this one here, I'm definitely gonna be saving this so we can save this trading idea so we can revisit it a little bit later. So let's look at the Qs, triple Qs. Those are the two we're gonna do, right? Macro level Qs, again, very, very similar story, right? Very, very similar story. Megatech, really Apple and Amazon just carry the entire S&P 500. I'm not S&P 500, but the QQQ, the Nasdaq 100, which is formed here a bullish, right? Bullish engulfing candle, and we know a bullish engulfing candle is one of the most bullish candles that we can have within the doji spectrum. So overall, right, I see resistance, the 21 moving average being resistance here, right? So I do see the Qs going a little bit higher, right? Possibly testing 322, right? For the long term. But for the short term, going to the daily charts, we're going to hit the daily charts, meaning each one of these candles represents one day, right? There is support, prior support here that became resistance. We call these role reversals, right? See, boom, right? See that? See, support resistance. Go a little bit lower too, right? So this was support, one touch point, two touch points, several touch points here, right? Right. This is another touch point right there. So this is very, very simple, right? Reason being is because we only have about two channels. And those are the two that I'm going to concentrate on. We got this channel here, right? And of course, we have this channel right here, right? We got this channel right here, right? Two channels. So for the Qs, I expect the Qs to possibly retest, right? I would say 317, 318. So I expect the Qs to go just a little bit higher, about 318, right? And I'm going to save this idea here so we can actually take a look at it a little bit later. 318.56, right? The CCI just overbought. It's in overbought territory now. Overbought territory. So again, just a retest here, right? Just a little bit higher. I'm going to go here so you guys can see it. Bam. And once the volume decreases, I know this is not the best. I was like, man, with a decrease in volume, with decrease in volume, I wouldn't be surprised if we retest 307. So go right here. Bam, bam, bam. It's really tough, isn't it? We'll say retest 307. And I'm going to do this line here in red, right? Retest this area 307 roughly, right? If you guys notice, I'm drawing my I'm drawing my I'm drawing my price targets in red, right? So again, I see the Qs, right? The Qs going a little bit higher for this one in particular, possibly testing 318.56 with, right, if the volume decreases, coming back down and retesting 307.46, right? Of course, you guys know that we like to give ourselves some time. So that's it for the Qs. Just giving you guys these two. I wanted to give you guys iteration. Reason why CCI right now is overbought territory, just overbought, right? Stochastics is definitely overbought as well. So we have to see what exactly is going to happen here, this resistance area. If it breaks through, yeah, I can definitely go higher, but we'll see that happening, right? So that is it for the forecast for this week. Again, a lot of negative pent-up news. CPI numbers continues to be, atrocious. And more importantly, we find ourselves right now at a recession. We've had two consecutive GDPs negatives, right? So that is defined as a recession. So in the recession environment, the market is not rallying to new highs. But time will tell, as I said. Um, Let us know what you guys think, guys. We always say, always practice logic over emotion when you're trading. Trade responsibly. Know your risk management. And we'll see you guys at the finish line. Peace, peace, peace. And like we say, always be blessed.